Okay, let's jump straight into it today. We are stepping into a genuinely suffocating atmosphere. Imagine this incredibly quiet manor, right? The kind of quiet where the air is just so thick with unspoken threats you could literally cut it with a knife. And in the middle of all this silence, a single, venomous accusation gets thrown out. It's the kind of spark that sets off a massive chain reaction of political fire, threatening to burn through the very highest levels of the court. So that heavy silence is completely shattered. Lu Qingqing just points her finger straight at Feng Jingge and the Regent Prince Xiao Jinghan. She makes this wild, direct accusation, claiming she was snatched right after what was supposed to be an innocent visit to the lakeside pavilion. I mean, according to her, Xiao Jingge was supposedly going to make paper airplanes for her, but then Feng Jingge dragged him away. It is an unbelievably bold, incredibly dangerous move to just hurl a claim like that right in their faces.
Now, looking at how this went down, this was absolutely no random snatch and grab. It was a meticulously sprung trap. You see, it starts with Lu Qingqing leaving the manor with her maid, Fu Ping. About an hour later, they end up at this really claustrophobic little rouge and cosmetic shop. And then, poof, a sudden disappearance into the capital's shadows. That rouge shop wasn't just a shop. It was a literal snare waiting for its fish, meticulously designed to drag our protagonists into a much, much darker conspiracy.
But you gotta ask, who's actually pulling the strings here? Because it's definitely not happening in the shop itself. Far away, watching from a distant tea house, there's a mysterious masked man and a woman in peach pink. They are literally baiting a hook. They're using Lu Qingqing's disappearance to draw out their true targets. The masked man even tells the woman in peach pink to go back to her rose shop and just wait for the fish to come to her. I mean, that is a chilling level of premeditation, right?
Section 2. The Emperor's Great Escape. A dangerous game of hide and seek.
Meanwhile, deep inside the echoing halls of the imperial study, the young Emperor Xiao Yu is getting desperate. He just wants a single moment of freedom from his golden cage. And he finds his accomplices in, honestly, a pretty unlikely crew of young nobles. You've got the slick-tongued, incredibly quick-witted kid named Su Shu leading the pack, alongside Xu Ning, Li Jie, and Jin Anhao. Together, they decide they are going to help their emperor break the rules, orchestrating this daring escape right under the panicked nose of Eunuch Chen. And let me tell you, this escape is far from some dignified royal procession. First, they have to completely dodge the frantic, watchful eye of Eunuch Chen. Then, they're navigating through these totally overgrown, weed-filled corners of the palace that everyone else just ignores. And finally, and this is the best part, they desperately squeeze themselves through a hidden dog hole just to feel the cool night air. It's this risky, shadowy little adventure that completely strips away any of that royal pretense.
Shadows in the garden. The Dowager's wrath.
Well, that sweet taste of freedom? Yeah, it is brutally short-lived. The heavy dew of the night garden is hiding a terrifying, waiting predator. The Empress Dowager herself literally ambushes the young emperor from the dark. And this is not some gentle, motherly reprimand. She steps right out, violently grabs his arm, forcefully twists both of his hands behind his back, and covers his mouth so he can't make a sound. It is an absolutely shocking display of physical violence from a mother to her son, designed to completely dominate him before he can even cry out for help. But the real horror of that night? It all crystallizes into one single number, 20. See, the Empress Dowager doesn't just stop at manhandling the emperor. Her fury zeroes in on the young ringleader, Xu Shu. She orders 20 strokes of the heavy board for him. Now, for a grown adult, that is a severe punishment. But for a 9-year-old child, that is essentially a disguised death sentence. She is fully prepared to beat a child to death right there in the dew-soaked grass just to prove her point. And then, right at the boiling point, the Regent Prince, Xiao Jinghan, steps out of the shadows. The garden turns into this explosive clash of opposing forces. On one side, you have the Empress Dowager's booming, highly emotional fury and her literal threats of lethal punishment. And on the other, Xiao Jinghan's icy, calculated, quiet logic. He doesn't even raise his voice. He just steps in and begins dismantling her imperial authority piece by piece. He looks right at the Dowager and so calmly points out the fatal flaw in her entire rage. He tells her to use imagined outcomes as grounds for punishment, it simply doesn't stand. With that sharp intellect, he completely strips her of her power in that exact moment. He just calmly suggests she save her arguments for the boy's father. It's brilliant. He effectively shields the trembling children and totally humiliates the dowager in one swift stroke.
Securing the edict, a victory sealed in yellow silk.
Back in the echoing silence of the imperial study, the tension suddenly pivots from basic survival to destiny. Just as it feels like the doors are finally going to close on all the night's chaos, Xiao Jinghan casually drops an absolute bombshell. Eunuch Chen, find a marriage edict scroll for me. It's such an abrupt, commanding demand that poor Eunuch Chen is left shaking so violently he nearly drops the sacred texts. I mean, he's terrified of what the Regent Prince is about to actually do. And while the eunuch is scrambling around in a panic, we get this incredibly heavy, deeply mentoring moment between the Regent Prince and the wide-eyed young emperor. Xiao Jinghan looks at the boy and delivers this crushing truth about wearing the crown. It's a stark, undeniable reminder of how isolating ultimate power really is. He's essentially teaching the young emperor that personal freedom, the exact kind he was desperately looking for in the garden tonight, is a luxury the throne simply doesn't afford.
Then, the bright yellow imperial silk is unrolled in the quiet hall. Eunuch Chen's voice echoes out, making the grand declaration by imperial command. Kneeling there to receive the decree, Feng Jingge secures a massive, undeniable romantic and political victory. It's finalized, right there in yellow silk, cementing their bond against literally any future interference from the dowager or anyone else in the court. But, as we know, in this court, every victory breeds a new enemy. Sure, the edict is secured and the dowager has been thoroughly humiliated in the grass tonight, but she is absolutely not a woman who forgives or forgets. And remember those masterminds waiting in the peach-pink shadows? They are still out there watching. So the question is, what new, dangerous shadows will stretch across the capital tomorrow?